is a sport in which some of the world's most valuable creatures push the limits of height, gravity and speed. And in the month of June, the settings in which they compete are undeniably spectacular. We're bringing you the latest as the Global Champions Tour and Global Champions League ride through the French Riviera and onto the Portuguese coastline for a seaside edition of CNN Equestrian. Hello and welcome to Saint-Tropez for the 6th stop on a show jumping competition that brings together the world's top riders to compete at the very highest level. The Global Champions Tour and Global Champions League stop down in some of the most alluring destinations, 17 in total, sandy shores and verdant greens from Mexico to Miami. And this is certainly no exception. Here in Saint-Tropez, the teams and individuals will compete on sand. Not unusual for the sport, but this arena is notably smaller than the previous 5 so far. Over 60 5-star riders have assembled, representing some 20 countries. Among them is Dutch rider, world #1 and current champion of champions, Harry Smulders. Already this season, he's claimed the Grand Prix victory in Hamburg with legendary stallion Don VHP. Now, as a young boy, Harry had a dream, but it was never realised. Thanks, Harry. You've dusted down your old football. Yeah. So why did you not end up becoming a professional football player?
I think my passion for horses was bigger than soccer finally.
And do you think you made the right decision, choosing show jump?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I made the right decision because I don't think I was ever so good in soccer than I'm now in the horses.
But you loved it. I mean, do you still get the chance to kick a football around?
Sometimes, yeah, a little bit with my kids.
Yeah, with your kids. What about with your teammate, Joss?
With Joss, of course.
Well, guys, do you fancy having a go now?
Yes.
Showing what skills you've got? Yes. I wasn't going to mention the World Cup, but I think I just have.
Really...
What happened? Where's Holland?
Better don't talk about that.
Oh, nearly! Tell us about, 2017, winning the, being the champion of champions. How did that feel?
I think last year was anyway a fantastic year with a lot of highlights, and to win the Global Champions Tour was unbelievable. I mean, that means that you're over the whole season with 15 different shows, different venues all around the world, with the 30 best riders of the world. Then you are the best of the best, and I think it's also a reflection of how you manage horses, not for one show, but during the whole year.
See, I don't really know how you're supposed to get the ball back. Oh dear.
I'm competing together with Jos Verlooy. We are already team members very long time. He's my student actually, and I saw his whole career building up from his first pony till where he is now. And I think for his age, he did already amazing things. He won already 5-star Grand Prix. Like for his age, he's very mature.
Jos Verlooy, one of the real young guns of our sport.
And how do you think your season's going this year?
So far it's going very well too. My good horses had a bit of rest in the winter, so they're just back on track, and with a win in Hamburg, so far we're still continuing.
Today, Harry will compete with the Stallion Emerald for his team, the Montreal Diamonds, and for a place in the Saint-Tropez Grand Prix.
The Grand Prix day is the most important day of the week. I try to give my horse the feeling that he knows when it's an important class.
Of course, with Harry, he has a very personal relationship with each horse. They are a team. They both have to do their job. It's my job to make sure the horse is in the right frame of mind to actually go into the ring and want to do good. If the horse is not happy in the stable, it's not going to be happy in the ring.
because he loves the attention, he loves the crowd, and then he comes to the show and he comes into the ring and I don't need to do anything. He's almost too excited and he really wants to show his skills. We are like 45 minutes away from the competition. They are platting Emerald now. He's a stallion, and it's always nice when it's the Grand Prix day that they look smart. My groom, Alex, Tyler, Morris, they are every day, all day with the horses and all week, so they know them actually, the behaviors in the stable and everything very, very well. Yeah, he's quite fresh. Let's see if we get him in the right mindset today.
A well-heeled crowd gathered to watch the action unfold in the Longines Athena Onassis Arena. The course, designed by Italian Uliano Vezzano, was a drama to behold, with no end of technical challenges for horse and rider. And then Harry rode out with Emerald. Perhaps too fresh or just not ready for the limelight, Emerald stumbled and they failed to qualify for the Grand Prix.
If you are with 50 competitors like we are in our sport, you have only 2% chance that you win. He had a little break after the World Cup final and he still needs to get back in the rhythm a little. The course was today a difficult track, cost a lot of power, small ring, big fences, so it was quite tough today.
Come on, Daniel. Here it comes for the victory, for the #1 spot. He does it. He delivers. Yes, he does.
It's a great time.
But not too tough for the Shanghai Swans. In the team competition, they wowed the crowds as the only pair to score 4 clear rounds over the course of the weekend. German rider Daniel Deusser and Brazilian Pedro Venice rode to a fitting first place on the podium.
Today he made it very easy to me. We were two of at least one fault ahead of the other ones, so I could even had one fault, and that gave me a lot of confidence, of course.
Another strong performance from the London Knights reinforced their position as the overall lead in the team rankings. The individual competition was a tense throwdown between the top riders. Claiming the podium victory for the second time this season was Englishman Ben Mayer, with his appropriately named horse, Winning Good.
Gotta go now.
Gets there in 37.44. It is Mayer the Magician who sparkles here in Saint-Tropez. Something else from him. Winning Mood, he was certainly in that, but whatever.
It's amazing. Really, things are going my way right now, and yeah, very, very different environments when I was in Madrid to here on the beach in Saint-Tropez. But very lucky to be able to ride these horses. They're very fast, and they're really giving me everything right now.
But in the individual rankings, a new rider rose to the top. Australian Edwina Tops-Alexander, with her horse California, proving the heat is rising as the Tour rides on down the French coast to Cannes.
To be able to come out here and just like ride in the wild and around horses that are not, you know, under tack and just free to do whatever they want. I mean, that's insane.
Danielle Goldstein is a professional equestrian athlete who's just competed at the top level in the Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in Saint-Tropez. The 17-stop tour continues on to Cannes, but between stops, she took a ride off the beaten track. The Camargue National Park in southern France is home to a unique breed of horse, with ancestors believed to date back over 10,000 years. She went to meet them and the guardians who know them best.
My name is Frederic Bon. I'm a guardian of the Camargue region.
I'm used to riding more show jumpers and warm bloods from the north of Europe, but is there anything I should know about riding these?
The horses are very kind and they are used to do what we are going to do. The Camargue horse is a very rustic horse. It's a horse which is living all year outside. The main quality of the wild horses is they are really, really adapted to this land, to this ground. So only the best continue to live here.
I had done a little bit of research, and the horses are really, like, truly one of the oldest breeds in the whole world. They're so much smaller than I thought. But what they're able to do as far as the work and what they do for the cowboys and the farmers, it's amazing.
At the beginning, it was a very special walking horse from the area. It's a horse with a very strong character.
How many horses in total are there in the whole Camargue?
In all the Camargue, there should be thousands of horses.
The Camargue is a regional national park covering over 600 miles around the Rhone Delta. Home to horses, bulls and white flamingos, its residents have existed here for generations.
For me, I was born here. My father used to have horses, and so I have continued on the same way. So the horses are just part of the family, and we are used to have them just in front of the house and nearby us. So it's one of the first things that everyone is doing here. Before knowing how to walk, we start to know how to ride.
There's almost like a sense of bravery that comes with it. You know, you're out there and you don't know the terrain and you don't know what's happening, and you get to just be free and on these horses. And then I come back to the sport, and I think of my horse and I say, oh my God, I'm brave enough to do this. I can do this, and I bet you I can get the horse to do this, which those did and mine don't normally do. So it's really an amazing thing that it comes with it. Last year in Qashqai, I won the Grand Prix. It was the first 5-star win I'd ever had in my career. Now every one of the globals is one of those things that you aim for.
Goldstein is currently ranked 8th in the individual competition, but her identity in the show jumping world is perhaps more often associated with her unique sense of style, replacing jodhpurs with brightly coloured yoga gear.
I've been doing a lot of self-defense and martial arts, and I wear workout clothes all the time. And then I thought, why am I changing into something else to just continue to work out all day? The reaction, you know what? The reaction is shockingly supportive. I mean, I think I get some funny looks. People be like, what are you wearing? But in the end, people are supportive. I think, you know, for me, it's about moving the sport forward and about comfort and functionality. And people actually are really supportive of that.
She rides with purpose. Despite having grown up in the United States, Goldstein now represents Israel, having earned Israeli citizenship in 2010.
I remember being at my birthday when I was like really young, being like, one day I'm going to do this for Israel. I'm not going to do this for the US. And for me, it's about supporting a relatively small group of people that I feel a strong connection to. You know, I'm very Zionistic in my beliefs, and I think it's a small country, and I think it doesn't always get the best press worldwide. And I thought, you know, sport is a great equalizer.
Now to Cannes, the French town synonymous with movie glamour, where the competition has kicked off in the sand, with crowds lining the red carpets to catch a glimpse of a different set of stars.
The atmosphere is great in Cannes. I mean, Cannes the classes are at night, and it adds an extra element. And I think my horses that I have right now do well with that added sort of atmosphere.
There was no shortage of drama in the team competition, with fences falling across a challenging course.
One fault in hand.
But riding to a spectacular podium victory were Valkenswaard United. Italian rider Alberto Zorzi and Dutch Jur Freeling with Glasgow.
It was really big class, and that is a little bit good for Glasgow. If the fences are higher, it's normally bigger for him. That's not always true, and jumped fantastic. I love that horse.
In the rankings, the top 3 teams hold their positions, but a stunning performance by Jessica Springsteen and Cameron Hanley sees the Miami Celtics rise 2 places. Then night fell. The spotlights turned on the individual competition and the tension rose. The Grand Prix featured a striking jump-off, with world #1 Harry Smulders riding into second.
European champion Petter Fredriksson.
And in first place, clearing the course in a speedy 38.05 seconds, was Swedish rider Petter Fredriksson with Hansen.
I'm so happy with my horse. I think he just proved he's a real superstar of a horse. And it's been a great show, great atmosphere, super competition.
In the individual rankings, the top 3 retain their positions, but the points are edging closer as the tour reaches its midway point, and the competition is as fierce as ever. Once a small fishing village, now an elegant seaside resort, a short distance from Portugal's capital, Lisbon. Cascais Estoril has quite the draw, and all the more so for a weekend in June, when the Global Champions Tour and Global Champions League touch down for the 8th leg of the competition. At every stop on the tour, the riders and horses face new conditions, new ground and a new course. Knowing how to approach it is key to their success.
This kind of arena, this is where we say the horses can breathe.
It was on these grounds that Jessica Curtin won the first ever GCT Grand Prix to be hosted here in Portugal. She now trains the Czech rising star Anna Kelnerova.
What is it as a trainer that you're looking at when you first come to an arena?
First thing when you come down in here, you have to look at the ground. Is it a good ground for the horse to push on? Is he going to feel comfortable, or is it going to make him unsure? Here in Portugal we have grass that can be grown, which cannot be grown in other countries, and it gives a real trampoline effect.
Now, of course, the course is a selection of lots of different jumps. Can you just explain to us the different types of jumps you get?
Well, actually, quite simply, if we want to keep it very basic, we have the verticals and we have the oxers. Here we have what we call an oxer. And the oxer is where we have the front of the jump, and then we have a width and a second pole on the back, which means not only do the horses have to gain the height, they also have to travel the width. So it does depend a little bit on your horse's ability and his strengths. If you have a horse that's very careful, which means a horse that doesn't want to touch, you can come with great speed. And if you have a horse that has so much power, you can come actually with less speed, and just with his power you can stretch over the back. And the rider's job is to keep the horse straight, in balance and in rhythm. The horse sinks down, so it's like a spring that's been coiled up. The more the spring can be coiled up, the more power that is there. And then he uses his front legs, like a pole jumper, he uses his front legs to push and propel himself up to jump the jump. It's all about presenting the horse at the next jump in exactly the right balance and momentum for him to clear the obstacle.
For the riders, this means meticulous preparation, which they do by walking the course. German rider Daniel Deusser claimed first place on the GCL podium in Saint-Tropez for his team, the Shanghai Swans. He's currently 5th in the individual rankings.
Basically, you see the course only 10 to 15 minutes before the class starts. We walk the lines, the meters in between the fences, of course, to make ourselves a plan how many strides we can fit into 2 jumps or sometimes even 3 jumps in a row. That actually you communicate with your horse and your horse listens to you. That's the most important.
Also walking the course today ahead of the competition is 23-year-old Michael Duffy. He rides for the Miami Celtics in the league competition, the rules of which stipulate that every team must include a rider under the age of 25. We went to meet him on home soil to discover what prompted the rise of this young talent.
I suppose it's what I've always grown up with. I never really knew any different. I was probably riding, as soon as I was walking. My name is Michael Duffy. I'm 23 years old. I'm an Irish show jumper, originally from County Galway in the west of Ireland, but I currently live in West Sussex in England. In Ireland, it really is the land of the horse. We start on the field, where we go fox hunting and we jump hedges and we go through rivers and down ditches. And in my opinion, a really good basis for riders. You learn to deal with all different aspects of riding. I was incredibly lucky that I was born into a family that was so steeped into show jumping. My grandfather was a very famous course designer and course builder. He kind of really brought a different technical side to it. My father was an equally talented rider. And at the start of his career, he competed at all the best Nations Cup shows. I suppose you could say a lot of my style or a lot of my riding, would reflect his. He had a fantastic start with the Global Champions League in Mexico by winning. I personally love the team environment. I love being part of a team, and that's my thing. It was life-changing to get the call to be asked to be on the Miami Celtics team. And that's the beauty of the Global League and the Global Tour. You can have a 20-year-old against a 60-year-old, you can have a male against a female. So it is a really, in my opinion, really equal sport. Cascais, I suppose, if I could put in another double clear performance and help the team on the podium, that's the dream.
On the day of the Grand Prix, a multi-generational crowd filled the Hippodrome in the leafy Manuel Possolo Park. But for the athletes competing, this would be no walk in the park, with gusty winds and a sizable grass terrain.
Also on the inside line here.
In the team competition, Irishman Dara Kenny and Belgian Gregory Vatterley, one of the fastest riders on the tour, rode the Paris Panthers to a first place on the podium.
He's got it! He's got it!
63.33 finishing.
This is only the third show I've ridden this horse at, so it was very interesting to see how today'd go, and he performed amazing. He's a super horse, so I'm really excited for the future.
In the rankings, the top 3 remain unchanged, but the Paris Panthers now move into the top 10. Which edges them closer to qualifying for the Prague playoffs and Super Cup, worth over €12 million prize money. In the individual competition, the jump-offs made for quite a spectacle. Belgian Gregory Vatterley rode with the usual haste, but not fast enough, as compatriot Nicolas Philippart darted through a clear course to claim his first ever Grand Prix victory.
Oh, look at that, for retribution. Look at that,
It feels unbelievable. I've never won a global tour, so this is my first one, and I'm very happy. My horse jumped amazing. He's been jumping very good the last shows. He did very good Madrid, Hamburg, and now here he just jumped unbelievable, and I cannot thank him enough.
As the event drew to a close, in the individual rankings, the top 3 retained their positions. But with Nicolas Philippart and Gregory Vatterley newly in the top 10, the tides may be turning. Join us next month for more on CNN Equestrian as the Global Champions Tour rides on to Monaco, Paris and Chantilly.